My name is Dr. Kenneth Adler. I currently am the Alumni Distinguished Graduate Professor at North Carolina State University. My appointment is in the College of Veterinary Medicine in the Department of Molecular Biomedical Sciences. I became editor-in-chief of the International Journal of General Medicine about 2 years ago. I've served as a reviewer for, I believe it's over 150 different medical journals in the course of my career. I believe I was contacted by Taylor and Francis. In the course of those discussions, it was brought out that there's an opening or an emerging opening for the editor-in-chief of the International Journal of General Medicine. And I said, well, tell me more about it. And I looked into it, and I thought that the journal had a really strong potential to become a much more impactful journal. I thought perhaps we could change some of the things there and expand the vision of the journal and the scope to include some what I look at as new emerging types of areas that the journal did not cover at the time. My appointment is in the College of Veterinary Medicine, and in the U.S., there are several the top tier veterinary colleges around the country that have research programs and faculty who are not veterinarians, who will work on mostly on human diseases, actually, with, of course, you don't need that much imagination to understand that a lot of the diseases that occur in humans can translate to similar, if not identical, diseases in a number of different veterinary species. The relationship between veterinary medicine and human medicine is something I think which is expanding and is being more fully appreciated. There were a couple papers in the last few months related to new treatments for, I believe it was ovarian or breast cancer, that seemed to be potentially high impact. And something like that, highlighted paper, a number of different editorials, letters to the editor directed at that by the associate editor or some of the connections the associate editor would have, would be a perfect example of how to bring attention to the paper and potentially both increase the impact factor because of the editorials, as well as potentially bring people who are not familiar with the journal, make them familiar with it by downloading and looking at this paper as something new in the field. One thing from my perspective that is an area that's going to attract a lot of attention is bioengineering. I mean, I'm just amazed when we combine biology or biomedicine type of research with engineers, if you will, who have expertise in biology. The types of things that are coming out of bioengineering are just mind-boggling. Wouldn't even have thought of 10 years ago. I mean, artificial limbs that work just like that are actually attached to the neural system. I mean, it's amazing. When one is looking at a journal to submit a paper to, I'm not sure if this is familiar to a lot of people who'd be watching this, but you have almost two schools of thought. One is to get everything together over, say, a 2-year period of time and put in a major paradigm-shifting paper to a journal like Science or Nature or one of the Science or Nature journals because of the high impact and potential um, response that they would get. The second school of thought, and this probably applies to papers done by students and postdocs in laboratories, is we want to get as many papers published for the particular student, because that's the currency we deal in. I mean, if a student just finishes their PhD, or even a postdoc finishing their postdoctoral fellowship, and now looking for a faculty position or a job anywhere, even in industry, what's the currency we deal in is publications. And if you haven't published anything, you come to an interview and say, well, I'm working on this paper and it's going to be a high impact paper, and I've been working on it for 3 years and we're ready to send it into science. Well, that's not going to cut it. However, if you come to an interview with 7 papers, maybe not in a journal as highly impactful as Science or Nature, but a number of other journals, then suddenly you're a highly productive investigator. Yeah, we have a couple of different areas here for special issues. Again, the actual areas escape me at the moment, but if one looks at the website there, you can see there are, I think, 3 or 4 different areas where we have a special editor, if you will, and trying to recruit uh, papers in that particular area. And again, these are areas of great interest to the medical research community. We have what I consider a highly um, directional types of reviews. In other words, the reviews are looked at, or the types of reviews that you get back on a paper that's submitted are very, very detailed. So we're talking about a very short time frame to get a paper accepted and in press and actually published. And we publish online, so paper gets published almost immediately. And so, stress quick reviews, comprehensive reviews makes the paper better. Okay, and for students or postdocs where they're trying to get as many papers published as they can, I think this would be a highly favorable type of uh, response to their paper, and potentially get it published within, I don't want to go off on a ledge here, but within a month or so. We used to say, in terms of enhancing the impact factor, if you publish the best science, it'll take care of itself, and don't worry about all these other things to do. So I'll go back to that and say what I want to do as the editor in chief of the International Journal of General Medicine is to publish the best science, to try to get top scientists in the field to recognize the journal as a potential area where they can potential journal that they would consider, and just let it go from there and let it feed upon itself.